Alright, so I want to start this off with an apology, okay? I know I haven't uploaded in like 6 days. That's, not cool of me. I'm sorry. If you're wondering why I haven't uploaded in like 6 days, I have the most cooked sleep schedule I think I've ever had in my entire life. Currently, I'm going to bed at 2 o'clock p.m. and waking up at 10 or 11:30 p.m. every day. Like, on the dot. Tonight, I woke up at 11:30. It's 3:58 a.m. as I'm recording this, so when you finally watch this video, just know I recorded it peak goblin hours, okay? So yeah, my bad. I've just been playing a bunch of COD and trying to work on music and stuff like that, and yeah, it's just messed my sleep schedule up a lot, but I'm here. I decided, you know what? While I have this downtime during the night, I may as well record videos, so as an apology to y'all, and just because I wanted to tell this story for a long time, I'm coming at y'all today with a very long story, and not just like 20 minutes long, I'm talking like long. I don't know how long this video is going to end up being, but it could be pretty long because this isn't just like one story. Today's story time is like 3 stories in one, and I gotta tell them consecutively because it just makes the most sense that way. So yeah, today's story time is not just a long one, it's a super long one. If you want more like it, drop a like in the video, and let's get into it, man. Let's jump into it. So today's story time all takes place back in 10th grade. This was actually the first month of 10th grade, so I was still kind of getting, used to it. I still wasn't really used to my new schedule, new friends, stuff like that. There was new people at the school. Obviously, I still had my friends from freshman year, but there was also a lot of new kids in our classes. So yeah, that was just something I was getting used to still. It had only been a month, so, I wasn't completely used to it yet. But for the most part, school was going okay. It was kind of like any other school year. I wasn't getting all the work done like I should have. I definitely skipped a few classes here and there. Definitely wasn't the best student. You guys all know this by now if you've watched the channel for longer than a day. But it was cool. And yeah, this all starts off like any other normal day back then. I got up at 6 in the morning, took a shower, got ready. You guys know the drill, right? Well, I went to school, and for most of the school day, things were pretty normal. It's really at the end of the school day is where this really starts. So in my last period class, it was study hall. And I was at the back of the room, just on my phone, listening to music, not doing any work, because the teacher that we had for study hall let us just kind of do whatever we wanted. And there was this dude that sat next to me in study hall who I didn't know that well. We'll just call him Jacob, okay? Jacob sat next to me in study hall, didn't know him that well. And while I'm listening to music on this day, just chilling, Jacob taps me on my shoulder. And I take my earbud out, I look over at him, and I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Yo, do you know Alex?" And I was like, "Alex who?" And then he says his last name, and it was, in fact, somebody that I knew. It was one of my good friends. And I was like, "Yeah, I know Alex. Why?" He's like, "Bro, Alex is my homie. I've known him since like 2nd grade. Do you smoke?" And I was like, "Smoke what? Like cigarettes, vape, weed? Like, what are you talking about?" And he like whispers under his breath. He's like, "Weed." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And I kind of start laughing. And he's like, all right, bet. So like, if you're interested, dude, me and Alex are meeting up after school today. We're going to be linking at Alex's house because his parents don't get out of work till 9. So if you want to come over, we're going to be matching. So if you want to come match with us and smoke up, like, you're invited. Now, for anyone that's not familiar with the term match or whatever, it just means providing an even split of the devil's lettuce together. So, everyone throws in the same amount and you all smoke together. I didn't have any weed at the time because your boy was not only making no money, but did not have any plug or anyone to buy it from. So I told him that. I was like, "Oh man, I'd love to, but unfortunately I'm dry. I don't got anyone to get it from, so I'm just going to sit that out today." And he was like, "Dude, we got you. Like, you just buy some off us." And I was like, "All right. I mean, if you're cool with that." He's like, "Bet, yeah, just bring like $20. And I was like, "Okay." So yeah, I was kind of stoked. I can't lie. It had been a stressful day. It had been a stressful week even. So I was kind of excited to just go to my friend's house and like kick it with my friend. Also, I was going to be kicking it with this Jacob dude who I just met, who apparently is like really cool with Alex, which kind of blew my mind because Alex is somebody that I knew for a very long time as well. And the fact that I had never heard about this Jacob dude kind of surprised me, but that's besides the point. So fast forward to after school, I went home, took the bus home, got off the bus, went inside, took a quick shower because it was really hot out, so I was sweating all day. And after I got done showering, I got dressed and I started riding my bike over to Alex's house. Now, upon pulling up to Alex's house, I walked in, dapped up Alex, dapped up Jacob. Jacob's already there. I sat down next to both of them on the couch. I handed Alex a 20, and immediately he gave me a little bit of weed, and we got to smoking. Now, about like, I don't know, 2 hits in, I kind of just started, making small talk, and I was like, yo, Jacob. And Jacob's like, yeah, what's up? I was like, how long have you been going to our school? Because I swear I've never met you before, and like, you said you knew Alex since like mad long ago. Like, have you always gone to our school? He's like, nah, man, I used to go to private school, and my mom moved me to public school this year, so it's my first year at your school. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. And I asked Alex, I was like, bro, why didn't you ever tell me about this dude? He seems cool. Just kind of like trolling him a little bit. And Alex is like, dude, I have told you about him. And I was like, no, you haven't. He's like, yes, I have. And I was like, no, you haven't. And he's like, okay, whatever. I'm just telling you, I have. To this day, I don't believe him. I had never heard a word in my life about this Jacob dude, but that's besides the point. Anyway, the smoke sesh was cool, man. We just all smoked together, had a cool time, ended up making some pizza rolls afterwards. It was just a very chill day, right? Now, after we got done smoking, I wanted some to take home for myself because I didn't have any, and the amount that I just bought off Alex, we'd already smoked because we just all matched. So I asked, I was like, yo, is it cool if I buy some more off you and take some home? And he was like, yeah, I could do a little bit. I was like, cool, how much? He's like, would you be good with like another dub, like $20? I was like, yeah. So I gave him another 20. It was my last 20. I was supposed to be using that money for food, but it's okay. I used it on something that's going to make me hungry instead. So yeah, I gave him the 20. He gave me another 20 worth of weed, bagged it up for me. And after that, I dapped up both of them, told them that I had a good time and I appreciate them inviting me. And I left. I jumped on my bike and I started riding my bike home because I had to get home soon because my mom was going to be home soon from work and I did not want to get, in trouble because I didn't tell her where I was. So if I wasn't home when she got back, she would start, definitely freaking out on me a bit and probably ground my ass. So yeah, I got out of there. So yeah, I rode my bike home. I got home relatively quick. It's a pretty short bike ride. Got back to my house. My mom was not home yet. I still had about 25 minutes, 30 minutes until she was home from work. So the first thing I did after getting home was I went into my room and I put my weed in my secret little hiding spot. Now, this hiding spot wasn't the probably safest way of hiding my weed, but it was the only spot that I ever put it that my parents never found, so I guess it was a pretty good one. I used to put it in the bottom of my deodorant. I used to like pop out my deodorant stick and then shove it double bagged in my deodorant and then put the deodorant back on top, so it just looked like a normal deodorant stick. Looking back, that's probably not the best spot because you risk getting deodorant everywhere. Like there was definitely a couple times where I smoked after having it in that hiding spot and my weed tasted like deodorant, and that's probably not good. I probably killed quite a few brain cells. Anyway, that's besides the point. Enough about my deteriorating brain, okay? Yeah, I put it in that spot and like 20 minutes later, my mom got home and everything was fine. Everything was good. I'd already changed my clothes at this point, so I didn't risk, smelling like skunk or anything. Things were fine, right? Well, the next day rolls around. I wake up at 6 in the morning because I had school on this day, and it was not the weekend yet, even though I really wish it was. Yeah, I got up out of bed, took a shower, got ready for the day, and on this day, I had gym class. And around this time of year, it was still warm in New York, so we were going to be outside in the hot sun. And I did not want to be outside in the hot sun, but we had to be because that's what the gym teacher wanted to do, right? So without thinking, I just grabbed my deodorant and popped it in my backpack because I knew I was going to need it after gym because I'd probably smell bad if I didn't have it. So yeah, without thinking, I just grabbed it, put it in my backpack, thought that I would use it after gym, and, didn't think twice, right? Completely forgot, just completely left my mind that there was weed in there. Well, anyway, I got ready for school really quick, jumped on the school bus, and about halfway through the school bus ride, I was going through my backpack because I was trying to find my portable charger in my backpack to charge my phone because I forgot to charge it the night before. And while I'm going through my backpack, I see my deodorant stick in there, and it finally hits me. I'm like, oh shit, I have weed at the bottom of that deodorant stick. Now, I freaked out a little bit, but for the most part, on the inside, I was thinking like, okay, you know what? You're fine, dude. Like that weed is like completely smell proof. It's double bagged. It's at the bottom of the deodorant stick. You have your deodorant stick on top of it. Like it's fine. It just looks like a normal deodorant stick and it smells like one too. Like no one's going to know. And, that was the truth. Like I really didn't have a very high chance of getting caught. Like no one was going to know that I had weed in there unless I told them. So yeah, I just made sure to be extra cautious at school. I kept it in my backpack up until gym class. I didn't take it out until then because I didn't need it. But when gym class rolled around and it was time to use the deodorant after gym to, make sure I didn't smell bad, of course, something had to go wrong. So yeah, I get to gym class, right? And like I said, we were outside, we were on the track, it was hot out. And after gym, your boy was sweating and it was time to pop on that deodorant. And I'm in the locker room with my class and I reach for my backpack, I grab my deodorant, I start putting it on. No big deal, right? Like I said, it doesn't smell or anything. Like the deodorant doesn't have a weed smell. And while I'm using it, I hear someone behind me go, "Yo, Austin." And I turn around and it's my friend Josh. Now, this friend of mine, he wasn't like a close friend of mine. He was more of like a school friend. He was someone I only really saw at school or talked to at school. We never really hung out outside of school. Not for any particular reason. We just never did. But I was like, "Yo, what's up, Josh?" He's like, "Can I borrow your deodorant? I forgot mine." And I was like, like I'm like thinking about it, right? Because like on one hand, I really just don't want anyone like near my deodorant because there's weed in there and I don't want the risk of someone finding that out. And on the other hand, I never liked anyone using my deodorant to begin with. That always kind of grossed me out. Like someone rubbing my deodorant on their sweaty ass armpits and then giving it back to me to use again, like in the future. I don't like that. It's gross, right? So yeah, I'm standing there and I'm like, I don't know, man. And he's like, "Dude, come on, just like real quick. I'm not even that sweaty. I just want to be safe. I didn't put any on today." And I was like, "All right, fine." And I hand it to him. And immediately he starts turning the knob at the bottom to make the deodorant like come up higher, which I didn't understand because there was more than enough, already up to use. He didn't need to have it come up any higher. And this dude just keeps turning it and the deodorant keeps getting higher and higher and higher. And I'm like, "Dude, you have enough. It's going to fall out if you keep turning it." He's like, "All right, chill." And he goes to use it. And sure enough, he put up the deodorant way too high. So when he went to rub it under his arm, it completely just like fell out of the container. It felt like the deodorant stick fell out of the deodorant container. And guess what fell out right afterwards? Because now there was nothing holding it in. The weed. It fell right out onto the locker room floor. And like not even a second goes by. And I like crouch down. I grab it as fast as I can. I put it in my back pocket. But it was too late. Everyone already saw it. Like they knew what it was. Josh saw it. 2 of my friends in the locker room saw it, but they weren't the problem, okay? Like, those were my friends. They knew I smoked. They weren't gonna, like, go tell somebody. The problem is that another dude saw it, who I wasn't friends with, and this guy that saw it, he has, like, a reputation at our school for being, like, a teacher's pet and, like, telling on people all the time for things they've done wrong. And I could see it on his face. I could see it, like, on his face looking at me, that he was gonna tell on me. Like, he was going to leave the locker room, he was going to go straight upstairs to the main office and tell the principal about it. And I knew this, right? So I walked up to him and I was like, "Hey man, listen, please don't tell anybody about what you just saw. Like, I will be in so much trouble. It will ruin my life. Like, I'll get grounded for like 3 months. Please don't, please." And this dude is just staring at me. And we're just going to call this guy Brendan, okay? After Brendan stares at me for like, I don't know, a few seconds of just silence, he's like, "Okay, I won't tell anybody." And I was like, "You promise, man? Like, you swear?" He's like, "Yeah, I do." And I was like, "Shake on it." And I put my hand out. And he shakes my hand. And he goes, "All right, is that good?" And I was like, "Swear on your mom." And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Swear on your mom. You're not going to tell on me." He's like, "I'm not doing that. That doesn't mean anything." I was like, "Bro, if it doesn't mean anything, then you should have no problem saying, 'I swear on my mom, I won't tell on you,' because it's not going to do anything, right?" And he's like, "No, it's just stupid." And he turns around and he walks away from me, just out the door of the locker room. And now I'm standing there just knowing I'm fucked, right? Because he's going to go tell on me. I guarantee within like 5 minutes, I'm going to hear an overhead announcement being like, "Hey, Austin, come to the principal. You're fucked." No, they're not going to say that, but you know what I mean, right? So he leaves the locker room. I know what's about to happen, and so do all of my friends, right? Because they all know about this dude. So after Brendan walks out of the locker room and I'm standing there just completely like, just in shock, Josh like puts his arm around me and he's like, "Dude, I got you. Take the weed out. Give it to me." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Give me the weed. I'll hide it for you until the day's over because you are for sure about to go to the main office and they're probably going to search you. So like better safe than sorry." And I was like, "Are you sure you want to like take that risk?" He's like, "Dude, this is my fault. I got you." And I was like, "Bro, it's not your fault. It's my fault for bringing it. I didn't even mean to bring it today." And he's like, "Still, bro, like I'm the one that made it fall out on the floor. Like I got you." And I'm like, "All right, man, I appreciate it." So I take the little baggie out of my back pocket. I give it to him. He pops the little baggie into his shoe. He daps me up. He's like, "Good luck at the office." And he leaves. And I'm just standing there like kind of in shock still about what just went down. And my other buddy at the locker next to me, he's like, dude, he's real for that. And I was like, yeah, that was actually crazy. And after that, I left the locker room. I went to my next period class. And like I said, like I was just expecting it any minute. I knew that announcement was going to come on and be like, Austin to the main office. And I got to my next period class and I was in there for about 20 minutes. No overhead announcement yet. Nothing came on. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, like, wow, maybe the dude didn't tell on me. Like, maybe Brendan just, like, went to class and forgot it happened. And then, like, 10 minutes later, at this point, like, a half hour into class, sure enough, I hear the beep of the announcement come on, and I hear, Austin to the main office, please? And I'm just sitting there in my chair like, motherfucker, I knew it. So I stand up, I walk out of the classroom, I walk up to the main office, and I walked into that main office and I immediately knew what was about to go down because my principal was sitting there, the school cop was sitting there, and they both looked just incredibly disappointed in me, right? And I sit down and my principal goes, hey, Austin, how you doing today? And I was like, pretty good. And like, how about you? And she's like, great. So do you know why you're here? And I was like, I have no idea. I was completely lying. I definitely had an idea. And she goes, well, we got a complaint from another student claiming that you were in the locker room after gym class and you had marijuana on you. Is that true? And at this point, guys, I have two choices. I tell the complete truth and I get in a shit ton of trouble, or I lie to her. And me being 16 and, you know, just not wanting to get in trouble, I chose the lying route, which, you know, isn't the right thing to do, but yeah, I did. So I was like, no, I didn't have any marijuana in the locker room. Like, who told you that? And she's like, we're not going to disclose their name for their protection. Complaints like that remain anonymous. But the person that complained would not have a reason to lie. So, like, please be honest with us. Like, did you bring any marijuana to school today? And yeah, man, I just kept lying. I was like, no, I didn't bring any. And she's like, okay, well, would you mind consenting to a search then? And I was like, sure. So immediately this cop takes my backpack, right? And he starts ripping through it. And then he dumps everything out on the table that was in it. And then he starts going through everything. He starts opening up like my pencil case. He's opening up notebooks. He's opening up like textbooks. He then grabs my deodorant and then pops the cap off it and like unscrews the deodorant, like has it come out. And he smells the inside of it. So like this is definitely a spot that this cop had seen before. And I'm not going to lie, I think the deodorant container still smelled a little bit like weed because when he popped the deodorant stick out of the container and like smelled the inside of the container, he made a face and then looked at me with kind of like this look of like, I smell it, I know you have it. And then after this, he keeps like searching through the rest of my belongings. And yeah, he finds nothing because there was nothing, you know, in there anymore. But he didn't want to give up. He was like, can you empty your pockets? And I was like, sure. So I emptied like my jacket pockets, my pants, all that stuff, right? And all I had in there was a pen, my wallet, my phone, and my keys. And after that, he's like, can you turn around for me? I'm just going to pat you down. I'm like, okay. So this cop fucking pats me down for like a solid like 30 seconds, dude. He really wanted to find something. But of course, he didn't because I didn't have anything anymore, right? And afterwards, he like walks back to the corner and like crosses his arms. And he looks at my principal and he goes, he's clear. I definitely smelled a little bit when I was searching, but I didn't find anything. And I'm just like standing there like, you know, shitting myself, right? And my principal goes, Austin, one last time. Do you have any marijuana on you? Did you have any marijuana on you? Like, let us know. And yeah, your boy kept lying through his teeth. I'm not proud of it, but I did. And I was like, no, I don't have any. I didn't have any either. Like, I don't know who told you, but they're lying. And she's like, okay, have a good one. And she sends me away. Now, after this, I went back down to class. My class was ending at this point. And one of the girls that sat next to me in class was like, what happened? And I was like, I had to get searched. She's like, what? For what? And I was like, weed. And she's like, did you have any? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, why'd they search you? And I was like, because I was suspected of having some. And she's like, why? And I was like, because somebody told her that I had weed on me. And she goes, well, did you? And she keeps asking me all these questions, right? And I was like, no. I lied to her. I didn't want to talk to her about it. And she goes, have you ever smoked weed before? And I was like, yes. Have you? And she goes, no, absolutely not. That shit rots your brain. And I was like, yeah, well, I don't know. I'm okay. And she goes, are you? What do your grades look like? And I was like, yo, I don't even know you like that. Well, why are you asking me all these questions? And she's like, see, you won't even tell me. It's because your grades are probably bad from rotting your brain from weed. And I was like, okay, listen, you are on your phone like literally half of class every time we're in here. So I don't want to hear anything about rotting brains when you're on your phone from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Okay, I don't want to hear it. And she rolls her eyes at me and she goes, whatever, pothead. And right after she says this, the bell rings and we just get up, we start leaving class. And I'm like in disbelief at just the day so far, right? And I was ready for the day to be over. And I thought that it was going to be over soon and that nothing else would happen. But of course, that wasn't the case. It gets better. So fast forward to lunchtime, okay? I'm at the lunch table. I'm with Josh, Alex, a couple other friends. And Josh asked me if I went to the main office. And I was like, yeah, I did. I got called up there and they searched me. And he's like, did they find anything? And I was like, no, because you have it, right? And he's like, yeah, I still got it, bro. Don't worry, I got you. And I was like, dude, I just want this day to be over. Like, this whole day is fucked. I want to just go home and just, like, go to sleep or something. Like, this is just, like, too much today. And Josh was like, don't worry, bro. It's almost done. Like, you can go home soon, smoke your weed, chill. Like, you'll be fine. And while I'm talking to them, I'm, like, looking around the lunchroom, just kind of, like, you know, people watching. And I see none other than Brendan, the kid that, without a doubt, was the one that told on me. I see him staring at me in the corner of the lunchroom. He's just staring at me. And the minute I make eye contact with him, he looks away because he knows he's guilty, right? So I wanted to know. So I get up out of my chair and I walk over to Mr. Brendan's table. And I was like, Brendan, can I talk to you for a sec? And he's like, sure. He stands up and like we go to the side of the lunchroom by the vending machines. And I was like, Brendan, I just had to go to the main office and get searched. You wouldn't happen to know why. And he's like, I mean, it's probably because you have weed on you. And I was like, yeah, but Brendan, how would they know that? Like, you said you weren't going to tell anybody, and I think you did. And he's like, I didn't tell anybody. And I could just see it on his face. He wouldn't look at me when he said it. He was lying. And I was like, Brendan, you're a shitty liar, dude. If you're going to lie, at least make eye contact so it looks believable. I just had to do that to the principal because you made me go there. And he's like, dude, I didn't tell anybody. I was like, Brendan, I'm not even going to do anything to you if you tell me the truth, okay? I just want to know if it was you or not. And he like hesitates for a sec and he goes, fine, I told, okay? And I was like, Brendan, why? Like, you don't gain anything from it. They don't give you money for telling on me. They don't give you candy. Like, what do you get out of it? Is it just like you enjoy watching me get in trouble? He's like, no, I just want to do the right thing. And at the time, that really made me mad. Like, I had all these thoughts running through my head, like all these insults. I wanted to call him a teacher's pet, a kiss ass, a pussy. I wanted to call him everything, right? But looking back as a grown adult now, there's a lot worse people in the world than Brendan, okay? I mean, even though he told on me, at the end of the day, it was my fucking fault, dude. I shouldn't have had it on me. So I didn't call him any names. I didn't yell at him. I kept my word. I didn't, do anything. I just rolled my eyes and I sighed and I said, all right, Brendan, thanks for being honest. And I turned around and I walked away. I went back to my lunch table and I sat down and Josh was looking at me and he's like, why were you talking to Brendan? Were you pressing him or something? I was like, kinda. I just wanted to know if he was the one that told. And Josh was like, dude, of course he fucking told. And I was like, yeah, I just wanted to hear it from him. And Josh was like, did he admit it? And I was like, yep, he did. And Josh was like, are you going to do something to get back at him? I was like, no, bro. Like, I didn't get in trouble. I'm just going to keep my head down and get through the day and just chill. Now, at this point, I really thought nothing else could happen. I really thought I could just, get through the rest of the day, go home, chill. And of course, it keeps going. So fast forward to the end of the day, my last period class. This time I didn't have study hall last period. I had math. So yeah, I was just in my math class, just kind of counting the minutes till the bell would ring and I could leave and go home. And finally, after like 50 long minutes, the bell finally rang and it was the end of the school day. It was over. I was free. I was, ready to go home. And I start leaving the school, right? And I had a plan. I was going to meet up with Josh outside of school, right behind the bus line, and get my weed out of his shoe and put it back in my pocket and go home. And as I'm walking out of school, as I'm walking down the sidewalk to the end of the bus line to meet up with Josh, I hear someone behind me go, yo, Austin. And I turn around and it's Brendan, the dude that just told on me earlier in the day. And I was like, what's up, Brendan? He's like, I just wanted to say my bad for telling on you, man. And I was like, it's fine. I didn't get in trouble. Like, it's done. It's over. We're good. He's like, well, where'd you put the weed? And I'm like, Brendan, listen, man, I appreciate your apology, but like, dude, you are notoriously known for telling on people for things. So if I tell you where the weed is, you're just going to go tell the principal and I'm going to get in trouble. And he's like, no, I won't, bro. Like, school's over for the day. Like, we're good. And I was like, Brendan, go away, please. I was just so over it. I wanted him to leave me alone. And finally, he leaves. He turns around, he walks away. And I go to the end of the bus line. I meet up with Josh really quick. We do the quick exchange. I get my weed back. I pop it in my pocket. I get on my bus after that, and I ride home, right? So after this, I'm thinking like, okay, I made it through the day. It was a close call, but I'm good. And they never called my parents or anything, which was great because that saves me a lot of trouble at home because I know my mom, if even she got a call from my principal, I would have been in trouble, and I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to get grounded or anything. So yeah, I got home after this, had a nice normal day, nice normal night, and then the next day rolls around. School. Now this time it's Friday, okay? It's Friday morning. I wake up in a great mood because, this day couldn't possibly go any worse than the previous day, right? And I'm not bringing weed to school on accident this time, so I'm good, right? So I get up, I take a shower, I go to school, everything starts off great. Now about 30 minutes into my first period class, an announcement goes on the overhead announcements calling my name to the main office. And I was so confused. I was like, what? So I stood up, I got up, I walked upstairs to the main office, I get in there. Once again, my principal and the school cop are in this room looking very disappointed at me. And I was like, what's going on? And my principal goes, have a seat, Austin. And I was like, okay. So I sit down across from her and she goes, so shortly after the day was over yesterday, we had a student that was staying after come into the main office and played us a recording that's pretty darn hard to ignore. And I shit you not, this woman proceeds to pull out her phone and play an audio recording of me and Brendan's conversation. This motherfucker Brendan had his phone in his pocket and was recording me say, like, I'm not going to tell you where the weed is because then you'll just go tell the principal. So, like, dude, it's like this motherfucker was wearing a wire for the principal. Like, I couldn't believe it. I felt like I was in some fucking Breaking Bad episode. And I was like, okay. Well, I know who recorded that. That's Brendan. And she's like, well, that's besides the point. The point is, you lied to us yesterday. And I was like, did I? I mean, you searched me, you didn't find anything, so, am I free to go? I'm trying to get all lawyer on them, right? And she's like, no, you're not free to go. We'd like to search you again. And this time we'll be searching your locker as well. And I was like, okay. Now this honestly surprised me because I thought they searched my locker the day before, but I guess they didn't. So yeah, the school cop was like, can I search you? I was like, go ahead. He searched me. After that, we went down to my locker. He searched my locker, found nothing. And once again, we were in this, stage of like, they had nothing on me other than the recording, which, kind of had me admitting it. But, there was no physical proof. So they weren't like, able to do a whole lot with it. But that didn't mean I didn't get in a shit ton of trouble. So what ended up happening was they called my mom in and they explained to my mom the whole situation. And the principal basically said, like, we didn't find anything on him. He probably gave it to a friend or, put it somewhere where we couldn't find it. But we definitely have reason to believe he did have it on him at some point. So, do with that what you will. She basically called to my mom and said, hey, we don't really have anything on him to get him in trouble here. But, like, we're pretty sure he had weed on him, so you should ground him at home. That's basically what she did, without saying it. And that's exactly what happened. After school that day, I lost my privileges to everything. I had no Xbox, no phone, no computer, no outside privilege. I couldn't go hang out with people. I had to sit in the fucking house and do nothing but stare at the ceiling for a goddamn month. It sucked. But you know what? At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it was my fucking fault. I accidentally brought weed to school, which is stupid. And then I essentially snitched on myself to a person that was recording me without my knowledge. So, yeah. To this day, I cannot believe the level of dedication that Brendan had to getting me in trouble. That motherfucker really had a phone recording in his pocket. Like, wearing a wire type shit, dude. After this video is recorded, I need to, look him up. I want to know if he's working for the FBI yet or not, because this dude should be working for the FBI. Like, the level of dedication this dude had to getting people in trouble was insane. Like, he's got to be a detective or something now. I don't know. Anyway, that's actually the end of the story. It was so many little things in one that all just led to this conclusion of, craziness. And I learned some valuable lessons. Moral of the story, obviously, is don't be like 16-year-old me. Okay, that's just number one. Because like I definitely put myself in this situation, even though there was a lot of factors that were annoying at the time. It was ultimately my fault. So yeah. But yeah, guys, definitely a crazy one, definitely a long one, just an all-around insane one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you left a like. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I will see you later. Peace.
I be fully loaded, I be whipping foreign cars. Always stay devoted, mama knew I'd be a star. Now I'm steady flying.